I'm on your board of directors. Hi. Welcome. We're glad you're here this morning. Before we do anything here, we set the tone with a spiritual prayer practitioner. Today we have a wonderful, deep prayer practitioner in Dennis Mills. He'll be holding the light. He's going to be setting the consciousness for us here. And speaking of consciousness, you might wonder why. I am dressed in caution tape. Well, let me tell you why. There's this little thing called the coronavirus out there, right? But we are science of mind, and so we have a consciousness of spiritual truth about things, you know? But we also wash our hands. But we want to be respectful if somebody doesn't want to hug us. You know, we're such a hugging community here, right? And so if you come up and you're like this and somebody goes, I also want to bring gloves back. I think they're a fashion statement. But anyway, so we just want to be respectful of how people feel about their consciousness around it. So that's all. I just thought I'd make fun, a little fun thing about it. So here I am. All right, I just want to tell you about some of the wonderful things that are going on in Seaside. We have the midweek healing ritual with Reverend Sorensen that is growing in popularity, and it's so divine. It's wonderful to take a midweek respite and connect and get quiet and prayerful and personal with Reverend Christian. So I would, if you haven't checked that out, come and see us on Wednesday nights. Let's see what else. We have new member class coming up on March 29th. I have a table out in the family room. And we have applications if you've ever thought about being a member, what it's about, what we're about, how to get more involved at Seaside. Come on over and fill out one of these applications. What we do is we'll give you a little education, and then we're going to take you out to lunch the following week. If you're already a member and would like to get involved in that program, we have you can mentor some new members and kind of sponsor them and look for them when you come to Seaside and be a part of our family. And that's super fun. So come and talk to me after. I'm really getting tied up in here. I'm like, we're also having a yard sale, a rummage sale. So if you have some spring cleaning that you're wanting to get rid of some stuff and bring it over to Seaside, we're going to have a big tent, and we're going to load in on the week of the 23rd, 24th, all the way through, so Monday through Friday, between 9 and 3, and then we need some volunteers if you like to rummage around and price things and be a part of that fun thing that is going to raise money for our media department as well as our beautification efforts here at Seaside. So I'd love to talk to you more about that. I have volunteer applications out there as well if you're interested. We also have the Interfaith Shelter. Seaside's week begins, and Karen is out at the table, and Sunny knows about it, and so if you would like to talk to them, they have a table right next to the membership table. And Make-A-Wish is also there. Seaside Trailblazers, they are walking up a storm. They are raising money for such a great cause, the Make-A-Wish. Mark is over at the table, as well as Jeanette Biasati. We have several of our board members that are walking every weekend. I see John and Emily, and I see them on Facebook and really taking advantage of the beautiful trails that we have here in San Diego. Really excited to announce that our spring education is happening. If you want to be a mystic, Reverend Christian is teaching his From the Mountaintop class, and we would love for you to get involved in that with a myriad of other options for education, which are either certificated or just enrichment. If you want to get involved in that, go see the table over in the right-hand side of the family room, which is education, and talk to Deb. I think she's going to be there. And some of the teachers that are offering their teaching are going to be out there as well. And last but not least, we have Panache Desai coming. He is a Oprah Super Soul Sunday kind of guy, New Thought, a leader coming to Seaside. We have tickets available or you really need to go and check that out. When you buy a ticket to this, you get his New York Times best-selling book as part of the deal. So go talk to Kay after this service, and I think we have a little reel to show you.
There is a power in your being. There is a truth in your heart. There is a light within you that is more brilliant than you will ever know. It doesn't matter what anyone else says. It doesn't matter what the world says. It doesn't matter what your Instagram feed says. It doesn't matter what anyone says, because who you are is beyond your ability to even comprehend. You are pure being, pure potential, and pure awareness. This is the truth about you.
The VIP tickets are selling out, so we will be having those for sale again, and then also online, and also check out online for the education catalog that is virtual this year. So with all that being said, if you would stand up and join us in our congregational song. We're just going to skip another part.
We know this one. Should I lead us?
Use me, oh God, I stand for you. And here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. I used to think that God was the sun. God is the sun, but God's so much more than the earth or the stars or all of creation. God is creator, all in all, needing us to shine its light as me, as you. So use me, oh God, I stand for you. And here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. I hear you, Seaside. Command my hands, what must I do? Command my life, it's here for you. God is the love that heals all creation. God is creator, makes all things new. And God needs us to shine its light as me, as you. So use me, oh God, I stand for you. And here
Rebecca. Woo, that was good.
Yeah.
Hey, you've been playing. Hey, did they like get in all the? Did they close best singer
Yeah,
nomination?
the votes for the San Diego Music Awards, right?
Yes, yeah.
All done. The voting ended about a week and a half ago, so now they're just counting them all up, and hopefully my name and the band has more than everybody else's.
Hey, we know it. That's for sure.
We won't find out though till March 23rd. So
Okay.
that's when the whole event is, the San Diego Music Awards. So I'll let y'all know after that.
That's nice. That's nice. I know everybody here voted on
Yes,
for you.
I
so,
know. I
yeah.
appreciate it.
That's
Thank
it.
you.
So anyway, hey, good morning, Seaside. Woo, you got your clock set appropriately, right? You kind of sprung ahead. There weren't too many at the first service that came in at the end, but they did make it in time for the collection, so don't worry. It was, there was a couple, bless their hearts. So, but they got the good stuff anyway. Hey, be sure you take out your phone. Let people know where you are. Those of you that are home, let the world know that they can just click onto what you're watching and see the message that is going on here. It is a good one today. It is a powerful one today. It is about overcoming fear. It is about the law of attraction that is going on. It's about what we're creating in the world and what the world's attempting to get us to experience. It's one that you want everybody to see. So go ahead and share that. And so I want you to know how grateful I am you are here, because Seaside is this growing, thriving spiritual community that is inspiring us to live our divinity. And yesterday we had a wonderful opportunity. The handful of us came together and took all of your input from the last month. You know, all your ideas you've been writing on those cards and giving us. We took them, incorporated that, and we got like the first step beginning to reveal itself in terms of putting together a strategic plan. And so our intention is after Easter, about the last Saturday of April maybe, is we're going to invite all of us to come together and see where it is we can play to put together our plan. It's, love Seaside the next 35 years. You up for that? Yeah, I mean, we've got to have a plan that's going to take us twice as far as we have come already. And so we want you to be part of that. So I'll let you know as we get more clarity, but we did get together yesterday. It was exciting. Wonderful consultant moved us forward. Ken Druck, bless his heart, took our wonderful crew of wild thinkers and kind of synthesized, at least got us figuring out what the next step is. So, but with that is we put Spirit first there. We put Spirit first always, and we will put Spirit first right now here at Seaside. We have a wonderful prayer. It was Dave Kennedy's 80th birthday this week. And so Dave, take us to that deeper place.
Thank you, Christian. Good morning, Seaside. Or just thank you. Just think we all remembered to set our clocks forward. So we made it on time. So anyway, I would, speaking of my birthday, I wanted to thank Linda Amerson for her beautiful card that she sent me. I love you, Linda. And so, and another thing, just 20 years ago, when we were down on 2nd Street, I celebrated my 60th birthday, and Christian said, "Gee, Dave, I hope I look as good as you do at 60. Well, here we are, Christian. Thanks, Dave. Okay, please join me in a moment of stillness. I recognize a power greater than myself. That power I call the essence, or the energy, the spirit, but mostly I call it God. That God is flowing in and around and through me right now, blessing me and blessing all of you today here. And I know that God flows through all of us and is blessing our day and blessing our lives. And it brings us peace and harmony, but it mostly brings us together is God loving people, God's loving energy. And for that, I thank Seaside for that love and that teaching. So thank you, God, and thank you, everyone that's here.
Blessings and grace, love overflowing, joy in this place. Spirit is showing blessings and grace. Mind, body, soul, and I am one with God. Blessings and grace, love overflowing, joy in this place. Spirit is showing blessings and grace. Mind, body, soul, and I am one with God.
Thank you, our famous Rebecca Jade, for reminding us who we are. She's going to be running off to another gig in a moment. She's so famous. And happy, happy birthday, our amazing practitioner, Dave Kennedy. Good morning. I'm Reverend Christina Tillotson, and it's my honor to welcome all of you, especially if this is your first time here at Seaside, to this loving spiritual community that inspires people to live their divinity. And thank you for setting your clocks ahead so that you could be here. And I just wanted, if you're here for the first time, as you go out the back or the side, we have a special treat for you. It's a gift packet with the CD of our amazing Dr. Christian and some information about our philosophy and our faith and our way of life. So please take advantage of that. And thank you so much for coming here to share your light with us here today. And I'm so excited that this is International Women's Day because I get to share a little bit about our movement and how it relates to us women. So we're part of a larger organization called Centers for Spiritual Living. It's worldwide, based in Golden, Colorado, and its vision is to awaken humanity to its spiritual magnificence for a world that works for everyone. So if you can align with that, you are in the right place. But we're also a part of the larger New Thought movement that began in the mid-1800s with denominations like Divine Science and Unity. And back then, the only place women could be ministers was in the New Thought movement. And here in our movement, in all of New Thought and in Centers for Spiritual Living, we love our male ministers like Dr. Christian, a true mystic, but we have the majority of the ministers in Centers for Spiritual Living are women. So I just wanted to celebrate that today on this International Women's Day. So the reading I've chosen for today is by a friend of Dr. Christian's. His name is Carlton Pearson, and he was an evangelical minister with a Liberty University guy, Jerry Falwell. And he's had an inspiration. He had a new thought about his life and about other things. And he quit the evangelical movement, and now he's a minister at a Unity Center in Texas. So this is what he wrote in his book, God is not a Christian, nor a Jew, nor a Muslim, nor a Hindu. God is in, through, around, and all as all of us. So he says, whatever is going on in your mind, you are attracting into your life. Everything that is coming into your life, you are attracting into your life. Every thought of yours is a real thing. It is a force or power or energy in your life. You change everything by embracing your mystic self and claiming your birthright as a creator. When you meditate and you feel your mind moving beyond its physical limitations, when you feel at one with all things, when you intend something with a pure heart, it comes to pass. Those are the manifestations of what some of us call Christ consciousness. It may be called consciousness or spirituality or God. But the objective is to encourage all to recognize the transcendent in and around us. It is a state of being in which the mind, focused with pure and total faith and awareness of its own divine nature, creates reality. You've heard it referred to as the law of attraction, a good marketing scheme, but it has some people rethinking, and it's even more. That consciousness is not about what you have, but about who you are becoming. A healer, a peacemaker, a bringer of light and love to the world. You can create this world with your mind and spirit when you exist in that consciousness of oneness. You can be Christian, Jewish, Muslim, even atheist, and still employ and enjoy this consciousness of spirit. So let's take these ideas of the consciousness of spirit into a short affirmative prayer. So going into that place where I absolutely know that one, that power, that energy that is throughout all of creation that I call God, and it doesn't matter what it's called, but it's from the tiniest atom to the farthest galaxy, continuing to create days and weeks and eternities out of itself. And that is who I am, and each one here is, each one coming in online is. Spirit in human form, right here and right now, in this time and place. And so I'm knowing for this sacred time together that each one here embodies that law of attraction, that sacred, powerful idea of attracting light and love and good and wholeness and wellness, not only for each one here, but for this whole world and for this sacred time together and for this beautiful attraction that each one here has of that light and love of spirit. I am so, so grateful as I release this word to the law, knowing that it's now done in perfect love and grace and wisdom. And so it is. Amen.
Beautiful word to get us started this morning, Dr. Christina. Good morning, Seaside. It is my honor on Sunday mornings to introduce our guest artists. And these two have been with us for many years, and we're so grateful that they are here with us this morning. This year, they're celebrating 32 years of marriage, which should be celebrated exactly like that. So beautiful. They recently recorded a brand new song and did a music video for it, which will be out in April. So keep an eye out for that. And let's give a warm Seaside welcome to Cahill and Delene.
Thank you, Rebecca. Good morning, Seaside. We're going to do a chant today, so that means it's a call and response. I will call, and Cahill and you will respond. And this is called Prosperity Chant. It's a great song by Karen Drucker. And so after the first part is when the call and response thing starts. So here we go. You ready? All right.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I want What do I desire? What will bring me to my highest good? What do I want? What do I desire? What will bring me to my highest good? Prosperity,
Prosperity,
I claim it.
I claim it.
Abundance
Abundance,
is mine.
it is mine.
Love
Love
flows through me.
flows through me.
I feel joy
I feel joy
all the time.
all the time.
I can have it.
I can have it.
I deserve it.
I deserve it.
I claim it.
I claim it.
It is mine.
It is mine.
I can have it.
I can have it.
I deserve it.
I deserve it.
I am it.
I am it.
It is mine.
It is mine.
Peace
Peace
fills my heart.
fills my heart.
I surrender
I surrender
everything.
everything.
Health
Health
is my birthright.
is my birthright.
Passion helps me sing. I can have it.
I can have it.
I deserve it.
I deserve it.
I claim it.
I claim it.
It is mine.
It is mine.
I can have it.
I can have it.
I deserve it.
I deserve it.
I am it.
I am
It's
it.
my time.
It's my
Bring it on down. Anything I want, anything I desire, anything that brings me to my highest good.
Anything I want,
Anything,
anything I desire,
anything,
anything that brings me to my
highest good. I release
I release
and let go.
and let go.
I accept
I accept
what is mine.
what is mine.
I can have
I can have
what I want.
what I want,
And let spirit
and the Spirit
direct the flow.
direct the flow.
Life is good.
Life is good.
Life is fun.
Life is fun.
Life is great.
Life is great.
This song is done.
Hey. That is Cahill and Darlene having fun with us and a fun song for sure. Thank you. Yes, and this song is done. I like that. So again, I'm done. That's good. Thank you. Gosh, Barry used to sing with me in Ventura. That was more than 30 years ago, 35 years ago. So that was some time ago. Yeah, we don't talk about those days. Anyway, hey, this morning's message is the attractor factor. I know it doesn't even need to be up there. But it's one of the basic principles of our philosophy. And, but it didn't start with religious science. The secret, oh my goodness, this great secret just came out. Well, Jesus made it real simple when he said, it's done unto you as you believe. That's kind of, but it's not where it came from. I mean, the whole Eastern philosophies had the whole karmic thing going on. It's what you put out is what comes back. It's just one of the basic tenets of the philosophy. Cause and effect is what science talks about. And so Ernest Holmes, he's the founder of our philosophy. And you'll find in his book that he wrote The Science of Mind, which has kind of become like our Bible, though we don't have dogmas, but we do have a body of information, but it's not a dogma, they say. But anyway, we do have something that says this is where it is. So any of you textbook toad metaphysicians, on page 294 is where I'm going to read once I get my glasses out, which I haven't quite let go of yet. Anyway, so Ernest, he writes in his book that thought can attract to us that which we first mentally embody, that which has become a part of our mental makeup, a part of our inner understanding, and every person is surrounded by this atmosphere, their thought atmosphere. Wow. The mental atmosphere is the direct result of our consciousness and our unconscious thoughts, which becomes the direct reason and the cause of that which comes into our life. Through this power, we are either attracting or repelling. Like attracts like, and everyone automatically attracts to themselves just what they are. And we may set it down that whatever we are, however intolerable a situation may be, we are just where we are and just where we belong because of our consciousness. For there is no power in the universe but ourselves that can free us from this particular experience. Okay, you got that? There is something that responds to us. It's saying 24 hours a day. It is working 24/7, either attracting or repelling. And where we are, it's not as if we just stumbled onto this. It's not as if people have done this to us. Rather, it is a result of our either choosing or non-choosing, because there's things that go on in the world, like a wave that is coming, that you're going to get caught up in unless you choose to do different. In surfing, we call it duck diving. A wave's coming at you, and it's going to gobble up whatever's in front of it. You've got to duck dive. You've got to take your board, and you go below the wave, and it just passes over. You come up on the other side. Everybody on the other side is all wiped out and complaining because it. But, you've got to make a decision, and that's what we talk about. Panache, who you heard's coming to Seaside, he's one of, Oprah's Soul Sunday kind of guys. He's got this new book out, #1 bestseller on Amazon right now, that You Are Enough. He says that our inner monologue has tremendous power in our life. And it's not only in our moods and in our body, but it's in our every waking moment. Therefore, all of our consequences. See, our inner dialogue, your chatter. You say, well, I didn't think that. Well, maybe not like consciously, but if your head's going da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, it's taking the feedback that's being put into it. Da-da-da-da. You are a part of that creating and attracting factor. You're the one who's got to make a difference. Because this philosophy of the attracting factor that's going on, it's not ours. I mean, the Buddhists had it. You can find it in the Dharmapada, which is really the most recognized or read Buddhist book in America, in the Western thought. And it says, our life is a result of our thoughts. Kind of sounds like Ernest Holmes, doesn't it? I mean, these are universal spiritual principles that are to be applied in all situations because it's a principle. It is a law. It is always working. Can you imagine jumping off a cliff and not going down? There's something that's called gravity. It's always working. Doesn't matter if it's a 5-pound weight or a 500-pound weight, it's going down. And so what we get to do is we are given the opportunity to consciously apply the greater good, to duck dive underneath those negative situations in our world, to take charge of our world, take the feedback that is coming towards our life and saying, hey, what do I need to do here? I saw this little comic of a guy who's downtrodden. He's carrying a suitcase. You can tell life is miserable. And the caption is, life just likes to reinforce my low self-assessment of myself. And it's like, life reinforces the assessment of ourselves. And if it's low, that's what you get. If it's high, that is what outpictures. And so what we like to do is say, you know what, lift the bar a little bit higher. Think in a grander way. The sky's the limit. Except now we don't stay in the sky. We've gone out into the cosmos. So the sky is no longer the limit. Do you get even what's way up there? There's even more? Yes, that is what is called infinite. So, in this day, International Women's Day, I got a wonderful quote from one of my heroes. I talked about her in Black History Month. But Harriet Tubman, and a great movie if you didn't see it this year, up for Best Picture, but it says that every great dream begins with a dreamer. Always remember, you have within you the strength, the patience, and the passion to reach for the stars and to change the world. Now that's not small thinking. But it's using the same principle of that law of attraction, the attraction factor that is going on. You get to decide, hey, is this going to work in my world? Because you know what? God is infinite. God is beautiful. When you recognize that God is beautiful, do you realize that everybody you look at becomes beautiful? Yeah, I mean, look at God's beautiful. Take a look around you. There's just beauty all over. Spirit is omnipresent. It is everywhere. You're beautiful. You're an expression of spirit. And you begin to recognize that every breath is a gift because it's God. I get to make that decision. And life reflects that back into my experience. And so as we begin to embrace that greater good, we find the wonderful reflection of Spirit showing up in our areas of life that are important to us. See, these philosophies don't apply just a little bit here and a little bit there. It's a principle. That is the attraction factor. It's a spiritual principle. Mary, she developed cancer in her body at the age of 36. Was hit with fear and concern, chose to do some treatments, and it went into remission, and felt very good about that. 8 years later, or even a little longer, some cancer returned, different cancer, but it was in the body. This one was a bit nastier. Went through and hit with the fear. Husband, oh my goodness, but there was a faith that was going to see her through. And the treatments were very devastating upon her body. The pain of bone marrow transplants were huge. The chemo, the radiation, put her into a coma for 12 days. And did not know whether she was going to live or not live, but she came through that. And in the recovery time, she was saying that she wasn't a victim of cancer. Rather, she was a student of cancer. The cancer was her teacher that she was using, whether it was 8 years previous or this time, she was using cancer as her teacher to begin to recognize that she is not a victim to life, that she is not a victim to circumstances or her body, that who she is far greater than that. And somehow this was teaching her to rise above even the physical impacts that are going on in her body. She rose to a higher place. She rose to a mountaintop, if you would, so she could look out upon life and see it in a different way, in a way that somehow there was a blessing here. And at the moment, she didn't know what it was, but she knew that God is beautiful. She knew that life was eternal, that she knew that she wasn't a victim. And so she began to have faith and trust in something greater than the experience that was going on. It's a choice that we are put into, and what happens is life responds to it. That's what we attract into our world. Old story of a king, a jungle king, lived, the good life of a king. He had his advisors. He had this one advisor that kind of really irked him or bugged him because he was always positive. Like, no matter what went on, oh, this is good. It's like, he was a new thoughter before there was new thought in the time. His positive approach to life was inspiring most of the time. And one of the times the king was out in the jungle with his advisor early in the morning and woke up wherever they were. King was chopping the coconuts himself and took his machete and took off the tip of one of his toes. And he just went to his advisor and said, look what happened. And the advisor said, oh, that's good. It's okay. He said, what? And it really made him mad because, the pain, and he said, yeah, the advisor told me it's a blessing. To which, if you ever have anybody tell you it's all good, it's all God, it's a blessing when it really isn't feeling that way in that moment, well, he took his advisor, threw him in a dry well, and just left him there and figured out he's going to find his own way home. Back to his kingdom, wherever it is kings go. And on his way, he was taken or kidnapped or by a gang of headhunters or whatever the Aboriginal individuals were, those natives in that area. And they took him because they thought he would make a wonderful, worthy sacrifice to the goddess of the volcano that they've got to make once a month on her behalf. And so they brought him back to their camp. They gave him to the shaman priest there, who was cleaning him up and preparing him for the dubious honor of being thrown into the volcano. And the priest recognized, your toe, it's not perfect. You've got to be a perfect expression to give to the volcano. Get out of here. We don't want you. And the guy, oh my goodness, this guy, I get it. This was a blessing, though I didn't know it at the time. And so he went back to find the well. He found his advisor just sitting down there singing happy songs, kumbaya kind of stuff. Man, this is really nauseating kind of stuff. But, he's new thoughter all the way, committed through. And they said, come on out. And the king said, please forgive me. I am just so sorry. I made such a mistake. Will you forgive me? He said, oh, don't even think about it. It all turns out for good. Throwing me in the well was just fine. It turns out for good. And the king said, whoa, wait a second. I don't get that. I mean, how could throwing you in the well be a blessing? And the advisor said, well, had I been with you, they would have thrown me in that volcano. And so when we are caught up in the drama, we don't always know in advance what the blessing is here. But if we can get to the mountaintop and have that mystical perspective, begin to see as Spirit sees, begin to trust the unfoldment of the presence of God, and not give my power away to the drama and the trauma that is being pumped out there, then all of a sudden we begin to be the student in our life, whether it was to cancer, whether it was to losing a toe, or even with the hysteria of this coronavirus that is going on. And, one of the things we offer here is a different perspective or a new thought. And I'd like to say, there's different ways of thinking about things than what is being pumped in with fear. Though, yes, follow the agencies that say wash your hands and sneeze into your arm and all those things that they tell us to do, and respect the individuals who are practicing a little extra caution. There's value, to that for sure. But it's also important to recognize what is even more impactful that is going on right now. A greater virus than the corona is the virus of fear that is taking hold. I went into the grocery store last week at Trader Joe's, and they say Sunday was the greatest sales in the history of our store. We've never sold more. And it's like, and they're buying toilet paper. Did you see that comic strip of people like the mummy wrap? They're all wrapped up in toilet paper and said, this is how we're fighting the coronavirus. I mean, come on now. It's like, really, it's like this. It's the results that these things inflict, that the problem, the fear, that's the challenge that's that's going on. If all of a sudden there are people with guns protecting the product that is needing to be bought, that's an issue to look at. If all of a sudden people are being made to have vaccines and there's an outside agency that's telling you, mandating what you've got to do with your body, that's where, fear can take you. Fear is not the barrier. If fear is not the problem, it is an opportunity to say there's something greater here. I may not know what the answer is, but my toe's been chopped off, but it can't be a bad thing. You got to recognize that, there have been, the CDC said last year that there were over 34,000 deaths in the United States because of flu. Right there. And what's going on is a strain of the flu, at least what it seems to be. It's not pneumonia. It's not tuberculosis. And as we begin to recognize that I need to do what is appropriate and safe, but I also need to choose to be that, I'm a spiritual expression, and I need to be like that wind slide, they call like the front bird that creates this wake where others can fly easily, or a car that creates, drafting or whatever it is. We're the spiritual leaders at a time like this that needs to bring forth the spiritual message that says we're not victims here. We're going to learn from this, but I'm not going to let fear control me. I am going to take charge of my life and do what's smart. I guess it's from the Islamic philosophy, where it says some person went to the messenger of Allah and said, Allah, do I tie my camel up or do I leave it untied and trust Allah? To which the messenger of Allah said, you tie your camel up and you trust Allah. So it's not saying we don't do what is a smart thing. I'm saying is that we have got to begin to recognize that we're not going to participate in the promotion of fear. That things are okay right now. It is all right. Here's something I received on email, and and I want to say that, if you don't want to hold hands at the end of the service, that's okay. There's no judgment around that. It's just, hey, that's not what I'm doing. And if you don't want to hug me on the way out, walk out the other door. People do it all the time. I don't take it personally. It's okay to, hey, dude, kick your foot out, or hey, yeah, buddy, arms, or, it's yeah, knuckles up, however you want. It's okay. It is a safe place, and I'm just saying, let's not give our power away to what's going on. It is the attractor factor that's going on today, and I'm saying, okay, you want to use your head. I like Florence Shovel Shin wrote, and we talk about this women's movement this day. She is from the 1870s is when she was born, and she was a writer. She wrote the book, The Game of Life, and How to Play It. Just a wonderful feminine impress on the collective consciousness. She said, I now exercise my fearless faith in 3 ways. Okay? That's how I exercise my fearless faith in 3 ways. I talk about it, I think about it, and acting on it. Okay? So you talk it, you think it, and you act upon it. This is the part I love. She said, and I am unmoved by appearances, therefore appearances move. Is that great? You got to write that down. I am unmoved by appearances, therefore appearances move. I am unmoved by appearances, therefore appearances move. That's what we are working with. I am so committed to bringing forth the presence of God that I'm going to stand on the mountaintop and see as Spirit sees and not give into this collective wave. I'm not going to say that because I had my toe taken off or something that it's the end of the world. You know what? There's a blessing here. There's something greater. But all that goes because I was going to read this. This one says, just pause a minute. So one of the worst days so far with the coronavirus was on the 10th of February. On that day, 108 people in China died of the virus. But on that same day, 28,283 people died of cancer. 24,541 died of heart disease. 4,300 died of diabetes. And on that day, suicide took more lives than the virus did by 28 times. Moreover, mosquitoes kill 2,740 people daily. Humans kill 1,300 fellow human beings on the average daily. Snakes kill 137 people daily. So take a deep breath and wash your hands. Yeah, we've got this attracting factor going on. And, we've been taught, it's sometimes more blessed to give than to receive. Yeah? And I don't know where anybody came up with that concept. What's more valuable, your right hand or your left hand? Maybe they both have value, It's like you want to be in the flow in the time. You want to be a giver, you want a receiver. But, on this International Women's Day, I sometimes think about the women who tend to just take on that nurturing aspect. They are such givers, particularly the moms, or if you're mothering someone or something, or you got a guy in your world, you're stuck. With that kind of caregiving in your life. And so on this International Women's Day, it is a day in which you've got to recognize it is okay to communicate, because what happens when people begin to not communicate out there, they just go numb. They turn themselves off so they can just continue to function. If he really loved me, he would know what I wanted. They should be intuitive enough, been together long enough. That kind of reading is not there. You've got to be willing to speak out what it is. And because I found this Barbara DeAngelis writing in a book called Real Moments. And she spoke here at Seaside once. And I just thought in regards to this time, this was just a relevant writing, because the theme of this season or today's International Women's Movement is gender equality. And you see everybody going like that in their social media posts, equal, right? And so it's like, it's one of our fundamental tenets that we are all equal. I mean, it seems like a no-brainer, but that doesn't really seem to be the practice or the experience. And so what Barbara DeAngelis wrote, it said, women are taught that the act of asking, right, the givers, not the receivers, how this all started, of wanting and yearning for something is a male characteristic. It's aggressive. It's not receptive. Don't be too pushy. Don't be too demanding. It's not ladylike. It's not nice. You're going to be called a bitch, a man killer. And so we're taught that we should not ask and that we should just take what we can get. And this is the greatest enemy of all women on every level of their lives. Emotional, physical, sexual, financial. Every woman have stories about wanting and not asking, about accepting something that was less than what they really wanted. And it's really sad. And men often have a very difficult time understanding that kind of pain. For example, a guy will say to his wife, hey, why don't you just ask me for what you want? Why do you have to go through all this stuff of worrying and trying to figure out what I'm thinking? Men don't understand what it's like to be, a second-class citizen. Considering women couldn't even vote less than 100 years ago, considering that women still are not honored for their work financially in the same kind of way as men in many of the positions, considering there are still levels of authority women cannot achieve in the business world, there's often a very strong consequence in all that the women say, that I'm different. I am seen as less than. I can not, and I dare not ask, and if I do, I'm going to pay the price. And I trust that applause is for bringing that awareness out and not keeping them in that place, right? It is that underlurking, attracting factor that we have got to work on blowing holes through. If we are for the gender equality, Callie and the Seaside Sisters has a board out in the family room this morning that asks you to put a note up there. I take a stand for equality, equal pay, able to do all things. It is, but it's a shift that has been coming. We're also celebrating this year the 100-year anniversary of the women's rights to vote. But I don't know if you realize it took 72 years to get to that place where they received the right to vote. But there was the consistency of saying, somehow this is leading me there. I've got to go to the mountaintop and believe that God is beautiful. It doesn't matter, if there appears to be a virus. I have got to know there is something greater that is emerging here. And what emerged, before the vote was the bicycle. And women started riding bicycles, which was like, oh my goodness, they had to deal with the unending gossip of men talking about women's ankles that are being shown. It was just crazy, the conversations that were happening. But then the women would jump on the bike, and I read this in the Atlantic, the magazine. It said the women would jump on the bike and take off fast to where we do not know. And Susan B. Anthony said the bicycle was the single greatest thing to the emancipation of women, giving them their freedom. You just don't know what it is. And around that time, as Dr. Christina said, our New Thought movement started having women step into the spiritual leadership role, which was pretty much unheard of. They started conversing with Emerson and the Transcendentalists, but then you had Mary Baker Eddy, you had Annie Millets, who started the Homes of Truth. You had Divine Sciences, you mentioned Nona Brooks, Fannie Jane, Melinda Kramer. You had Ernest Holmes, religious sciences teacher of mysticism, Emma Curtis Hopkins. You had Myrtle Fillmore. Charles was part of it, but he was doing his real estate. Myrtle was doing basically this is a feminist movement, the New Thought movement that is going on. And it comes with its twists and its turns. You don't know how it's going to show up next, but that's just so feminine expression. The masculine expression kind of kicks in the front door and says, ta-da, I'm here. This is see me. And, where the feminine energy kind of comes in the side and the back and isn't just at the front door, but it is all over, filling every nook and cranny. And it's not as if the feminine is returning. The feminine has never left. It is just now being recognized that it is the nurturing, caring, loving, supportive time when we need it most. It has been here the whole time. It is like the sun and the moon, if you would. The sun is, is represented as the masculine. It is consistent, it is permanent, it is there, it is strong. And the feminine is the moon. It's like, it's always changing. Its size, its shape, its color, it's waning, it's waxing, it's full. It's just never the same. But that is the feminine. It is able to move and groove. The goddess Kali, the goddess of creation and destruction. It is the full cycle. And that is what is needed in our world at this time, is that kind of heart, is that kind of love, is that kind of new thought, is that kind of new intuitive expression that says, hey, this isn't so good. Let me nurture and love you. But you know what? There's something good. There's a blessing here. Let's look for it. Let's be in this together and see that there is something that is emerging that is better, and be willing to claim it. Not sit there waiting, okay, the world's got to figure out what it is I need. No, you got to be willing to ask. If you don't ask, it's a no. You've got to get out of this, I don't know what really, be bold, be out loud, be bold, be strong, be loud with what it is you are claiming for the greater good, for your life, for humanity, for our culture. It's okay to have peace on earth. It's okay to have equality. It is okay to love our neighbors as ourselves. You got to be willing to ask, to claim it, proclaim it, declare it, and accept it as the truth that is available now, that is emerging through what is now, whether it is a bicycle or a computer today, I don't know. But what I do know is somehow something good's coming out of this, and that is where I'm going to put my faith. You get to decide, this fear that is stirring, is that going to be my barrier, or am I going to use it for a call to faith? Knock, and it shall be opened. Seek, and ye shall find. Ask, and it will be given. And for those who seek, they will find. And those who knock, it will be open. For those who go looking, it's going to be given. You've got to be bold. But how have so many people learned to ask? Well, not because our parents said ask. They said, be quiet. Maybe not for you guys or me, but But I learned you don't ask for too much. You can't be disappointed. School sure doesn't teach you. Let me get you to parrot back what I'm giving you. The core curriculum there. So we learn by the models. Whining, complaining, innuendos, moaning, moping, oh, maybe. It's like, that's not the way. Ask and it shall be given. Seek and you shall find. Knock and it will be open. That is the way it works. And wonderful story of, I don't know, it's wonderful because it has to do with smoking, but there's a young guy waiting in line for the bus, and there's an old guy in front of him said, hey, do you have a match? I could have, I want to smoke. He said, no. And he's like, oh man, don't take my head off, because he's kind of gruff about it. And so he asked somebody else, and he was smoking, and a few minutes later, he saw the old guy light up a cigarette. And he went, hey, old man, you told me you didn't have a match. You didn't have a light. What's up? He said, well, to be honest with you, if I lit your cigarette, you probably would have stuck around. We would have started talking. If we would have started talking and got on the bus, you probably would have sat next to me, and then we would have talked a lot more. I probably would have liked you. You seem like a nice enough guy. And if I liked you, I would have invited you to get off the bus stop, come home, have dinner with me. My wife loves to cook, for friends. And if you came into our house and had dinner, you would have met my daughter. And, if you met my daughter, I know you would have liked her, and you two probably would have gone out. If you two went out, one thing leads to another. And I just didn't want my daughter marrying a guy who couldn't afford a match or a lighter. And it's like, And we got this whole mental scenario built up. And it's like, we got to give that up. If I don't know, this is one of the things Panache says, if you don't know, then choose love. If you're not sure, choose love. Because I got to tell you, love doesn't wait for the right timing. Love waits for the welcome. And it is our responsibility to be that attracting factor to invite the love into our life, no matter what the situation is. Well, this is a biggie. Remember, there is no big or small with gravity or with the law. It is all our choice. And though you can have a world trying to seep on this fear and this concern, this collective wave that is going to come gobble you up with everyone else, you know what? You can choose to duck dive. You can choose to go a little bit deeper, a little bit lower, and recognize there is this attracting factor that is going on, this cause and effect respect that says, you know what? I'm going down and touching deep with spirit, and I'm coming up, and I'm going to be that slipscreen. I'm going to be that spiritual voice, that leader that's coming forth and saying, yes, tie the camel up, but trust God. Speak about the faith in that higher power. Speak about that presence that is not caught up. Speak from the mountaintop, from that mystical perspective that knows all is well, and have faith in that greater yet to be, as opposed to buying into the hysteria that's being fed with you, and you will be that spiritual leader that our planet is looking for now. God bless us as we do this together. Hey, let's keep it going as we bring Barry and Deline back to our stage.
Man,
Here we go.
I got to settle down to do this song after that. This is a song from our CD that Deline wrote, and it's about paying attention. It's about tuning into your environment and about settling down as you tune into Dr. Christian. We go way back. I used to be his choir director when he was first a religious science minister up in Ventura, way back when. Anyway, so this is called I'm Listening.
I've come here again for calm and serenity. Just open my senses and feel the earth's heart. I connect with this place in serendipity, 'cause I'm listening to all there is around me. I'm listening to escape the thoughts that are bound me. The world has greater secrets than I can even imagine. I'm learning and growing and loving, 'cause I'm listening. Unspoken. Now I will listen from my heart to yours, to realize our lives in synchronicity, 'cause I'm listening to all there is around me. I'm listening to escape the thoughts that have bound me. The world has greater secrets than I can even imagine. I'm learning and growing and loving, 'cause I'm listening. Listening to all there is around me. I'm listening to escape the thoughts that have bound me. The world has greater secrets than I can even imagine. I'm learning and growing and loving, 'cause I'm listening to all there is around me. I'm listening to escape the thoughts that abound me. The world has greater secrets than I can even imagine. I'm learning and growing and loving, 'cause I'm listening, and I'm listening, and I'm listening, and I'm listening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That is Cahill and Deline. Woo! Listening. Now that's the form of prayer I think has the power, is listening to that present. These flowers are gorgeous. Nobody gave me notice to where they're from. Anybody give us those? I just want to say thank you. Everybody can have credit. Those are really beautiful. Nice job. Thank you for whatever we're celebrating. Maybe it's just all of us that we're celebrating. So that beauty is how he sees Seaside. You know, it's the beauty everywhere, the omnipresence. I look at you. Okay, this time of our service where we have the opportunity to share our gift, share our love. As you give, that is the attraction factor that is going on in our life. It's not just having the thoughts or speaking it, it's the activity we spoke about, right? It's not just, speaking and thinking it is the activity. So whether you're dealing with basic principle, creating abundance in your life, I'm abundant now, that's nice to say it, but your activity has to reflect that. If you're practicing wholeness, that's it. And when all of us come together, we can do amazing things. It's powerful. Seaside's a result of all of us coming together. So I invite you to listen to your heart and to just sense the gifts that you get from God in your life. And know that your gift goes to support that greater expression. And so with that, I'd like to invite our ushers to come forward as we take our gift from our heart. And I want to say thank you to this beautiful crew. Thank you those who mail in your contributions when you cannot be here. And those of you at home, I know there's a lot of you out there. And some of you, because of the season that's going on, and you're choosing to practice being out of crowds, that is one of the gifts Seaside offers, is the opportunity to receive this message virtually. But don't forget to practice this moment from home. Send in your gifts and support. It's really important for sure. And so, hey, we love you, and I enjoy all the letters and the communications we have. And I know there's more of you home today, whether it's on Facebook Live or whether it's watching it through our website. We know you're there, and if you've got concerns, don't hesitate to use our prayer box, okay? So I want to share this prayer of gratitude and say thank you to this wonderful crew who's at the doors to greet everybody who's walking through with love and caring and a high consciousness, that slipstream of wholeness that emerges from you for sure. And so I share this prayer of gratitude with the most generous of spiritual communities, and not only in the financial way, but also through our action, through our heart, through our prayers, through our caring, through what is going on. I mean, this week we begin our stint with taking care of those that are between housing. We're taking care of guests for this week who are in the transitional housing program that Seaside's people so generously have come together to support and to create. And so we just know the blessings of each one who passes through our love and our care. For truly today is a blessed day where the richness and the fullness and the grace and the good of God has its way. And so each and every one of us becomes the divine way, the expression of God made manifest. And so the activity of who we are begins to make that impress upon the tide that brings back into our life the reciprocating expression that matches our expression. So with gratitude, we give that which has blessed our life, knowing the blessing continues to touch others, but also we become recipients to that blessing multiplied over and over. So with joy, I become that attracting factor of greater good, and so it is. Amen. And together, let us say this affirmation of abundance, which is, Spirit continues to bless my world. Gratefully, I live as the giving expression of Spirit, opening the floodgates of the affluent flow of greater good as my life now Your guys from Seaside right there. And I stand before this bounty and I can feel the love that has been pouring forth through each and every one of us, that enriching, healing, transforming, uplifting love that has moved through our very life experience, just absolutely cleansing and bringing a space for the greater good to have its manifesting expression as our very life. So with joy we have given, with joy we become recipients, and that joy in which it has been given, it is received with joy, it is handled in good stewardship, and it's put forth back into this world to just bless everyone it comes in contact, and including Seaside, the wonderful foundation upon which we grow is that love. Just love Seaside. And so it is. Amen. All right. Hey, this is Mark Sands. You know, he is your board president here at Seaside. Called together that wonderful planning strategic meeting yesterday. He's going to make sure that right after Easter, we're going to get together on a Saturday and get everybody's input who wants to be part of the strategic plan. Yeah.
Very exciting.
It is. And hiking, how's that going? You're heading up?
Hiking's going great.
Yeah?
Hiked yesterday.
You did? Where'd you go?
We're up at Blue Ecological Reserve by Lake Poway.
Oh, nice. Not too far. Getting your shape for that 28-mile Pacific Crest Trail.
Working our way up.
That's good. Okay. Anybody interested in hiking with these guys? They're creating this whole club, right? Yep. So after service, come out there. Talk to Mark. He's good to talk to him anyway. So good guy. We love Mark. Cahill and Deline, thank you two so much for your love, your music, your music since the early 80s. We've been doing this more than 35 years. So that's good. And so we've each got a partner since then. Yeah. So that was good. Well, mine's talking back. Anyway, Rebecca, man, it's always a joy. This is our girl, Rebecca. Just thank you for letting us ride on your journey and the excitement in your life and your world and the wonderful music you deliver with your artistic expression week after week. You're a blessing and a gift to us all. Rebecca Jade. Woo. Dr. Christina, always a joy to share a Sunday morning with you, bringing the wisdom, the consciousness of our whole movement to us. You're good. Giving us sound today is Ed. Nice job. Visuals is Marv. Nice job. Camera crew and those in the editing room and booth, great job. We love you. We continue to hear, we're touching more and more lives all the time. So plan to get involved around Seaside. Like today, right after the service, Kay Samuelson is going to be, where's Kay? I'm just looking for Kay. Anyway, we're hosting a meeting for anyone who wants to get involved with volunteering to help bring panache here. Panache is coming. What we need are a lot of hands on deck. We're definitely inviting you people to come play with us. So it's going to be a short one. It's our first one. Plan to talk with Kay after the service or get your panache ticket. That's also a big help. You know what you can do? Everybody can help us make it a success by taking this flyer, posting it around town, putting it in windows or somewhere where others will see it. I mean, this is a guy, amazing story. You know, he's born on the east side of London, which was a rough neighborhood where xenophobia was going on and gangs were happening. He used to get beat up on the way to school. Tells the story about one time 3 guys just beat him up outside of a nightclub. The bouncer saved, literally, he said, his life, pulled him in. And rather than going home, he hung out a little longer at the club. And the next thing you know, the club was taken over with guys with guns, and there was a hostage situation going on. And finally, when the police rescued that night, everyone that night, he thought, it's time for me to go home now, you know? And that was the beginning. Though, as a child growing up, everybody felt, all his spiritual teachers felt that they had a message for him. They had all been tapped that this guy was coming. And so he's coming to Seaside. And he's one of Oprah's favorites on Soul Sunday. So get your ticket for that. What else is going on that I wanted to share? I'm sure there's more. Sign up. Put the stance. Yeah, classes. There you go. That's a good one. With Seaside Sisters, put a stance on the wall and say, hey, I'm taking a stance for gender equality. The board is there for that. And classes are coming up. I see Reverend Catherine here. She's going to be teaching the Emma class. So you want to know who influenced Ernest, go hang out with her on Thursday nights. Tuesday nights, I'm going to be doing the mysticism. On what night? Monday nights. Oh, wow. You changed it up on me. It used to be Thursdays, right?
Financial Freedom's Thursday.
Oh, okay. Oh, you got 2 classes going. Super juggling. Anyway, that's Catherine. See her afterwards. Talk to her. She'll fill you in on more accuracy than I got. Anyway, so yeah, Tuesday nights I'm doing mysticism, living from the mountaintop. But our kids. Let's hear from them. I've been talking all morning. Hey, guys, anybody want to talk with me? You have anything you want to say? Okay, you. What?
Yeah, I have Richie and Owen's Schweier or something.
Wow.
And Turns kid, that's called Richie. And
Okay, you can tell us more next week. How's that? Anybody else want to say something? Say something? Yeah, no? You want to? You can turn around and look at people. Okay, what is it you'd like to say?
so today in class we learned about change, that it can be really good. Sometimes it can seem that like it's bad, but it's good.
Wow, that's what we were talking about. Very nice. That is good. So, yeah, sure.
Love and kindness lives up to this day.
Nice, kindness. We like that. We went from caterpillar.
Caterpillar to a beautiful changed butterfly.
Nice. I like that. So this is Kristen Seeger. She leads our children, and that group just keeps growing and growing. And I want you to know there are 2 adults to every classroom, and we have at least 3 classrooms going for the different age groups, sometimes 4. That's 8 times 2 services. That's 16 volunteers this young woman needs to assist with our children every week. It is a tremendous gift to you. Say, yes, count me in, Kristen, for an hour once a month. It's wonderful. So thank you for what you do. It is so important, the family program to Seaside. So, all right, I think I'm going to pray because what? Oh, yeah, let's say together our kids' affirmation, which is, we see you, we love you, and we support you in our magnificence. Yeah, so with that, I'm going to pray. How's that? I want to invite any of our religious science practitioners to stand. And, as all of us come together, Ernest Holmes said, if we get 1,000 people to agree on one thing, we could change the world. And so, 1,000 of us washing our hands, the place is just a lot cleaner for sure. But also 1,000 of us knowing the spiritual truth, we can change the world. And so in this moment, I know that we've been charged with nothing less than changing this world for the better. That we have been called for a time such as this to be that wonderful expression. And so I recognize that expression of the divine as a life of love, a divine order, a peace, a beauty. God is beauty. God is love. It is the first breath, first cause, all initiating essence. It is that which I am. It is that which you are. It is that from which I came, I am. And so I'm no longer reaching out trying to get. I'm no longer looking for intermediaries to deliver. I come to recognize the omnipresence expression of the infinite is what I am. And so I speak from this mountaintop, this revelation of divine knowingness that the time in which I am is perfect. That whether it's chopping off a toe or getting a verdict of cancer or dealing with the virus of fear, it's what's going on in the human experience. But each of us has been called for a time such as this to know a greater truth. That the appearance cannot move me, therefore the appearance must move. And so if there's anyone here today that is experiencing any challenge or constriction in thinking and mind and mood, as Panache says, our thoughts have a tremendous power in impacting not only our mood, not only our body, but every waking moment and every consequence thereof. And so I know right now that those thoughts that I'm choosing to be aware of are God. As we heard sung today, I'm listening and hearing and seeing and knowing all is well, that all is okay. From that mountaintop perspective, from the mystical perspective of the Christ consciousness, that absolute connectedness where there is no otherness. The divine has its way through each and every one of us. We have become that vortex, that avenue that brings the greater possibilities, the greater story, the new thought to the world. And in this bringing, we are enriched, we are blessed, we are graced, we are fulfilled. Our creative expression finds excitement and its activation, finding its welcoming delivery point. And I know for each and every one of us that whatever the constriction or challenge or our lesson is, making us a student, we begin to embrace our studentness, if you would, not giving the power away to that which is outside, but integrating the greater understanding of the truth of being, which is spirit made manifest as our very life. That there is no one, no thing, no condition that can sweep me up in that collective wave, that I can continuously choose to dive deeper and connect with the infinite and come up on the other side and be that light, that example of the greater possibility. And so what I know right now, that Seaside is a light whose light is shining brighter than ever. The prayer requests that have been brought forth to our ministry are now fulfilled. Everyone who's reached out in consciousness or verbally or written, it is being fulfilled. You know, for our beloved Keith Russell, who's having physical challenges in his body, I know that there is an innate intelligence that responds to the divine blueprint of wholeness for Keith. And there is that emergence of that greater expression of being for his physical ease and grace. And for a beloved student from our school of ministry, the Reverend Rob Applegate, who started his ministry in China and took it to Chiang Mai, Thailand, I know that he is experiencing a sense of perfect expression and wholeness and well-being, whether in this world or the next, that he is able to find a connectedness of his infinite expression and move on with the wonderful lightness of freedom and eternal expression and well-being. For truly he is a wonderful expression of God. And for Dakota, who made his transition this week, I know that here's young man who moves forth free and able to express his self in a way that is honoring the magnificence of his God expression, free from any of the turmoil, the trauma, the confusion that was going on within his life. That is, that soul is able to express itself. And for our beloved Reverend Debbie McDonald's brother-in-law, who made his transition earlier this week, this young man who moves on, leaving behind a family, that the family is surrounded by love and caring and a peace that passes any kind of logical understanding. But there is a deep sense that all is well, and a love that brought this family together is not bound by time and space, but it is the welcoming expression of love that invites that experience of that vibrancy of the love into their experience, whether here or on the other side. And that this young man moves on with the wonderful currents of eternality, able to express himself and know that his love is activated in his family's life. For truly there is a spiritual depth to our philosophy that brings a sense of soul comfort and a deeper realization that in the midst of a challenge, whether it is a chopped toe or a verdict from the medical world or a statement from the bank or a headline in the news, they're all just prayer requests for a greater knowingness that the appearances cannot move me, therefore they must move. I continue to hold that high watch of the greater possibility, the presence of God, and I know that I am an attracting factor for greater good, and I attract those that believe, and those 1,000 that are in total alignment with the greater possibility do bring change to the world in which we live and move and have our being. By working with what is present now, we bring forth the greater yet to be. Grateful to be called to be a spiritual leader at a time such as this, not buckling to the fear, the virus of fear, the fear virus. I begin to believe in the presence of God that is greater than all things. It is not a power over anything because it is the only power. It is that wonderful feminine that fills all nooks and crannies in space and is is ever available, waiting for the invitation to love. And we find instantly the comfort, the realization, the support, and all that nurturing needs taken care of in this moment, for the blessings and the graces upon this moment, and we come to experience it. So with joy, we move forward in our thinking, in our speaking, and in our actions. Grateful to be an expression of God and believe in the infinite dreams and visions of the galaxies, of the stars, as Harriet Tubman spoke about, is our destiny, is our call, is our soul's expression. And so we let go to this with that unshakable conviction, filled with gratitude and faith, and unshakable faith. We just allow Spirit to do what it does, get out of the way, and let go, and let God. And so it is. Amen.
There was a time in my life I thought I had to do it all for myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you've got to let it go. And this is what you have to say.
I release and I let go.
I
Let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. 'Cause I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. 'Cause I'm only here for God. Say I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. 'Cause I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. 'Cause I'm only here for God.
Seaside, sing it from your heart.
Peace and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide.
That's beautiful. Come on.
No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. 'Cause I'm only here
For God. Yeah.
And our affirmation is, I'm a magnet for abundance. Together, I am a magnet for abundance. Touch your heart and say it again. I am a magnet for abundance. Think of your abundant good, whatever that may be, and say together, I am a magnet for abundance. And our song of grace.
I'm living in love. I'm living in peace. I'm living my life for what I believe. Through joys and through fears, in this world I walk. God's grace shines on me, and it shines on us all. We are living in grace. We are living in grace. We are living in grace. We're living in love. We're living in peace. United we stand as one family. We honor all truth as together we walk. God's grace moves through me, and it moves through us all. We are living in grace. We are living in grace. We are living in grace. We are
Thank you.